Well, there it is. The nation to defend. Our nation. Yours and mine. At least, this is a part of it. There's more. A lot more. It's a big nation, this country of ours. From the rocky coast of New England to the shores of California. 3,000 miles of America. I'm interested in this America. I've got a stake in this country of ours, just as you have. I could be one of your neighbors in a small town, or one of the big city people you know. Maybe the fellow who sat next to you at the game on Saturday. Or I could just as well be sitting with you in the audience. Because, you see, I want to look at these things with you and talk about these things with you. Today, a lot of you are thinking about the day you'll be called into the armed forces, called to serve your nation, and if necessary, to defend it. You think of the friends you'll have to leave, the sacrifices you'll have to make, and finally, when the time comes to go, maybe you'll think, what is it that needs defending? Why does it have to be defended? I think we know the answers. I think we know that what we have is worth defending.
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
That's part of our nation. Those are principles we've defended ever since the Declaration was written.
And for the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor.
Know what that means? Sure you do.
These men were setting up a new government, a new nation. They knew they must not fail. And to make it work, they were willing to give all their money and their lives, everything they had if necessary.
Everything they had. Sometimes we forget the work and the danger these men went through to found our nation. They were men of peace, citizens much like us. But when they realized that their rights were in danger, when they could no longer negotiate with the enemy, they left their fields, their homes, everything they had to defend the kind of life they believed in. You know the story of those men. Stand your ground. Don't fire unless fired upon. But if they mean to have a war, let it begin here. And so for the new nation, they fought. And for the ideas that nation stood for. They fought in the towns. They fought in the fields. Sometimes women joined in the defense of their homes and families. These were difficult years, years of suffering and toil. Yet the patriots stood together in their common cause. Some of the patriots, like George Washington, gave years of devoted service and leadership to the nation. Some, like Chaim Solomon, gave their fortunes to the nation. Many, like Nathan Hale, gave their lives. And still more, many more, gave years of military service in the defense of their country. Their country was a little group of 13 colonies, and yet because they defended it, that country survived, grew into the great nation that you and I live in today. That nation has always been devoted to peace. But all through our history, there have been times when there was no peace, when differences could not be compromised, when the last resort was to fight. Men who loved freedom, who believed in our way of life, have not hesitated to defend freedom. Ordinary citizens, mostly young men, have fought to defend the kind of America they believed in. And they have done this not because they loved war, but because they hated tyranny. In 1917, the fight against tyranny took us far from our own shores, into other lands, to join with other nations who were fighting to keep our kind of freedom. In 1941, we embarked on a great struggle that was fought in many different places over the globe. Once more, American men gave everything they had for the nation. Once more, we joined with men of other nations in the common defense of freedom. Once more, we hoped tyranny was ended. We want most of all to live in peace with the other nations of the world. And we have always been willing to discuss world problems and eager to find peaceful ways of settling differences. But at the same time, we have been on guard against tyranny, any kind of tyranny. We have been willing to fight aggression wherever it threatens to destroy the things we believe in. Things such as justice, fair play, the right for everyone to have an equal chance. We have been willing to join men of other nations who believe in these same ideals of freedom. And always, as our nation has needed men, men respond. If it were not for men, men willing to defend the nation and the ideals it represents, you and I might lose all we have. Our freedoms, our opportunities, and perhaps our lives. And what about the future? As long as we have a nation, we may be called upon to defend it. Today, tomorrow, in the future. George Washington said, "To be prepared for war is one of the most effectual means of preserving the peace." Daniel Webster said, "God grants liberty only to those who love it and are always ready to guard and defend it." Woodrow Wilson said, "To such a task we dedicate our lives, our fortunes, everything that we are, and everything that we have." Everything that we have to defend our freedom. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's our kind of freedom. Remember, when you are called to serve your nation, you're called to preserve your freedom and ensure your way of life. You're called to ensure your freedom to choose your religion and the kind of work you want to do, to ensure your freedom of speech, to ensure your right to the pursuit of happiness. And you can think of more rights that you have. You know what they are. But wait. Maybe you think, it's harder now than ever before. The problems of today are greater than other men have had to face. Well, listen. These are the times that try men's souls. The summer soldier and the sunshine patriot will, in this crisis, shrink from the service of his country. But he that stands it now deserves the love and thanks of man and woman. These words were written by Thomas Paine, an American patriot, in 1776. And ever since, in the times that try men's souls, men have left their homes and their families to defend the nation. Our nation. Mine and yours.